Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
What is up, everybody? I am Milan Jordan. This is the MMA Daily Blitz, as always, brought to you by FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Check out our YouTube page, and you can follow me on Twitter at Milan Jordan. All right, last weekend, the only major MMA promotion in action was the UFC with the Fight Night card at the Apex, and wasn't exactly a stellar card leading up to this weekend's pay-per-view. The only notable fight was the main event with Song Yadong beating Ricky Simon by TKO early in the fifth round. With MMA or boxing not dominating the combat sports landscape this past weekend, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship took advantage of the spotlight. And let's face it, BKFC, it's a spectacle. Squeamish for some, it's not for everybody. That being said, BKFC 41 had several former MMA fighters and UFC champions on their card this past weekend, and even Conor McGregor was in the audience, and the event proved to be quite entertaining. Most notably, the two fights at the top of the card. Eddie Alvarez took on Chad Mendez in a nonstop 5-round affair. Again, these are 2-minute rounds in bare knuckle fighting, but nonstop action for 10 minutes. The former Bellator and UFC lightweight champ, the Underground King, won by split decision in his BKFC debut. At one point, Conor McGregor, as I mentioned, he was sitting ringside. He offered Alvarez some advice in the middle of the fight, saying to throw the uppercut. Alvarez threw the uppercut and then points to Conor and thanks him for it, but that wasn't the last we would see of Conor on this night. Yeah, well, in the main event, Mike Perry beat Luke Rockhold by TKO. Luke Rockhold, of course, the former Strikeforce and UFC middleweight champ. When Rockhold was forced to retire because of a couple of his teeth got chipped in the fight, said afterwards, yeah, some gloves would be nice, but something he crossed off his bucket list, fighting in BKFC. But after the official announcement declaring him the winner, Platinum Mike Perry called Conor McGregor into the ring. The two faced off with McGregor holding the BKFC belt and exchanging some words, and well, that was it. Now, McGregor went on social media afterward complimenting the fighters who participated and how the event went. It didn't exactly close the door on competing in bare knuckle fighting someday, but some crazy stuff. Look, BKFC, they made the most of a perfect storm this past weekend. People are talking about BKFC even a few days later. Will it get bigger and more popular in the future? Well, maybe, I don't know. Well, only time will tell. All right, meanwhile, MMA back in the spotlight this weekend with a couple of big events. One Fighting Championship, the Asian-based promotion, will have its first fight card on American soil. One Fight Night 10 is Friday night in Denver, and you can watch it on Amazon+. It's headlined by the ONE FC flyweight title fight, a trilogy fight between current champ Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and Adriano Moraes. They split the first two meetings, with both winning with highlight reel knockouts. So it should be a great one here. And, on this card that Demetrius Johnson has maybe hinted this could be his last fight. If not, it's, he's retirement's in his near future at some point. So it'd be cool. Mighty Mouse, if this is his last fight, he goes out with a bang and goes up on Adriano Moraes 2-1. But great. Yeah, they put on two great fights previously, so no doubt this one should be another great one come Friday night for ONE FC. One other MMA fight of note on this card, Sage Northcutt. He takes on Ahmed Muchaba in a lightweight fight. Not Sugar Sage, Super Sage Northcutt, former UFC fighter in ONE FC now. Of course, ONE FC, for those of you who aren't familiar, it is more than just MMA. They also feature Muay Thai, submission grappling, and kickboxing. And one of the most popular and successful Muay Thai fighters on the planet, Rodtang, takes on Edgar Tabares for the Flyweight Muay Thai World Championship. Rodtang has fought in over 300 Muay Thai fights, piling up 270 wins. So it makes sense that ONE is showcasing him on their first American card. Again, ONE FC fight on UFC foil for the first UFC soil, I should say, for the first time this Friday night, again on Amazon+. Meanwhile, Saturday night, it's UFC 288, and our next pay-per-view in Newark, New Jersey. Aljamain Sterling puts his bantamweight belt on the line against former champ Henry Cejudo. The Funkmaster comes in with a record of 22-3, coming off a TKO win over TJ Dillashaw last fall. and he's seeking his third consecutive title defense. Sterling has won 8 fights in a row, tied for the longest active streak in the UFC bantamweight division. He also has 13 wins in the division. His next one would give him the most in UFC bantamweight history. Meanwhile, Triple C Henry Cejudo, 16-2, is coming out of retirement. The former champ will be in his first fight in 3 years, 1,092 days to be exact. Despite the long layoff, the Olympic gold medalist wrestler is not really a huge underdog. He'll bring in a perfect 7-0 record in the bantamweight division and will certainly be Aljamain Sterling's toughest test. No love lost between Sterling and Cejudo in the build-up for this fight for the last several weeks, actually the last couple months, so should be a fun one come Saturday night. The co-main event is a welterweight contender fight just added a couple of weeks ago. Bilal Muhammad, 22-3, facing Gilbert Burns, 22-5. Muhammad is riding a 5-fight winning streak and a 9-fight unbeaten streak, while Burns is fighting already for the third time in 2023. He beat Neil Magny in January and Jorge Masvidal on April 8th. Yeah, less than a month when this fight comes to fruition. And whoever wins this fight will likely get a title shot next against the winner of Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. The rest of the main card, you got a women's strawweight fight. Jessica Andrade is back in action. She takes on Yan Xiaonan. Featherweight fight, Mosfar Evloev, 16-0, takes on Diego Lopez. Both guys are fighting on short notice. Originally, it was Jonathan Pierce set to fight Bryce Mitchell. Well, Evloev replaced Pierce, while Lopez was announced as a replacement for Mitchell just this past Tuesday. And the opener on this fight card, on the main card, I should say, in the featherweight division, Kron Gracie returns to the octagon for the first time since October 12, 2019. He will face Charles Jourdain. All right, taking a look at some MMA news and notes. Nate Diaz, who was involved in a street brawl on Bourbon Street just a couple of weeks ago, well, he faces potential second-degree battery charges, which are considered felonies in Louisiana. He's going to appear in a preliminary court hearing June 27th in New Orleans. Diaz's team has claimed self-defense regarding this incident. He is scheduled to face Jake Paul in a boxing match August 5th in Dallas. And as of now, this is Wednesday night when I'm recording this. They are set to have their first press conference next week, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz promoting their upcoming fight. John Jones made some news today. Current UFC heavyweight champion and former longtime light heavyweight champ, considered by many to be the GOAT, or at the very least being on the Mount Rushmore of MMA. Well, he's set to fight the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic. Well, it's expected that mega fight will be in November at MSG Madison Square Garden in New York City. Well, Jones recently told Fox Sports Australia that right now his goal is to fight Stipe at MSG, then call it a career. Because he feels if he beats Stipe, there's not much left for him to prove unless a Francis Ngannou fight would be on the table. Ngannou, if you recall, held the UFC heavyweight strap after Stipe's second reign, and before Jones's current reign is a free agent. Francis Ngannou is a free agent. Remember, his UFC contract ran out earlier this year, vacating the title that Jones would go on to win in March. Ngannou is looking to compete in both MMA and boxing, something that the UFC is not willing to have him do. So at this point, as awesome as it would be, I wouldn't expect the John Jones-Francis Ngannou fight anytime soon, but look, things could always change in this crazy sport of MMA. We know that for sure. But as of now, it appears very likely that when John Jones and Stipe Miocic finally meet in the octagon, it could be the final fight for both of those legends. One more quick note, the trilogy fight between Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena headlining UFC 289 is off. Pena is out of the fight due to broken ribs, so replacing her is Irene Aldana, winner of 2 straight and 4 of her last 5. She was supposed to appear on a fight night card against Rocky Pennington later this month. Instead, she moves into a title fight against Amanda Nunes. Again, this will be for the women's bantamweight title, June 10th in Vancouver at UFC 289. All right, folks, look, that'll do it for this episode of the MMA Daily Blitz, brought to you by FanStream Sports, powered by DSP Media. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you consume your podcast. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at Milan Jordan. As always, I thank you for checking out the MMA Daily Blitz. Enjoy the fights this weekend. I will talk to you later.